Welcome to the Rogers Kakasungura YouTube channel. A big thank you for the support you're granting this platform. The President of the Republic of Kenya is in France for the G7 summit. He happens to be the only African president who has been invited to that summit. He has spoken a lot of things. I want to give you 4 minutes of William Ruto's speech. And as a patriotic Kenyan, I am going to tell the world what is happening. And that is why I've chosen to speak in English, for the world to know what is really happening. We cannot pretend clean out there, yet we are rotten back at home. We cannot pretend competent out there, yet we are incompetent back at home. We can't pretend candid out there, yet in Kenya, we have no voice. It is high time the world knows what exactly is happening in Kenya. And without much ado, can we listen to what William Ruto said? What was his expectations? Because immediately he arrived at the G7 summit, the media interviewed him and they spoke about what we expect as a people of Africa and Kenya, that now he represents us in that particular stage. Can we listen to William Ruto?
We are presenting a new paradigm shift of relationship between Africa and our partners. This is no longer going to be a relationship about dependency. It's going to be a relationship about sovereign equality. It is not going to be a relationship about aid, charity, assistance. It's going to be a relationship that we want about mutually beneficial partnerships. And number 3, our proposal is that extraction is no longer acceptable or tenable. Going forward, we believe that the most consequential and beneficial relationship is through investments that are mutually beneficial, so that African assets, natural resources, vast energy, renewable energy resources, arable lands, and human capital, including market, should be useful not just for us as Africans, but mutually beneficial for those who are going to invest with us. So we are clear on what we have come to achieve and what Africa's position is going to be. Secondly, we will be in the new global order. We believe that a new San Francisco moment is imminent. The world order, as we have known it, is faltering. It is not that it's going to happen, it's already happened. But we also believe that international institutions, including the United Nations, are a necessary imperative. World Bank, IMF, other institutions have a serious role to play. But we need a new relationship. We need a new engagement. Africa was not present when these institutions were reconfigured. Then, this time round, Africa must be at the center of it. We cannot continue to have an international governance order, for example, that is not democratic, that is not representative, and that is not accountable. Our position is that whether it is seats at the UN Security Council, use of the veto, which is very controversial, and also accountability, because the United Nations, as we see it in the new order, must be run not by an administrator, but by a reformer. And number 2, it must be a UN that is representative, that is democratic, and that is accountable. And this is not about accommodating Africa. No. It goes to the heart of the legitimacy of the UN, of the credibility of the UN, and actually the existence of the UN as we know it. So we are going to have a very candid, forthright conversation with partners. And these are positions we have consolidated, we have built consensus as a continent, and therefore I think it's a great opportunity for Africa, for us to be able to position Africa rightfully in where it truly should be.
Ruto talks big. Ruto talks large. Whoever doesn't know William Ruto can say, wow, this is the mind Africa needs. Very sharp, clever, good boy. Well done. Yeah, good. Good. Ruto talks large. But back at home, he does the opposite. Completely the opposite. You've listened to that speech. Ruto talks about ending dependency, Africa having its own resources, ending borrowing. Ruto talks about it big. When he talks in speeches, you think Kenya is not borrowing. When he talks, you think Kenya is independent. But back at home, he is borrowing every minute billions of shillings. Even in France, he won't finish that summit without borrowing. That is what the world must know. Don't be lied by William Ruto. Ruto borrows. In fact, when you calculate the amount of money he borrows, statistics say even when he's sleeping at night, he's borrowing per hour. In that speech, Ruto talks about Africa resources, Africa utilizing its own resources, Africa using its own resources to avoid borrowing. But when you come back to Kenya, here in Bungoma, they are killing people and want to sell our gold to the whites. Yet, Ruto talks about resources. Here in Turkana, we have petroleum. But Kenya is not benefiting even a coin from it. They are selling it at night. Yet when he goes on camera, he says, Africa must utilize its resources. Talking big, like in back at home, doing the opposite. Ruto talks about accountability. African leaders must be accountable. We must be accountable to our resources. We must be accountable to our money. But back in Kenya, is William Ruto accountable? How much money is he looting each day from the public? How much money is getting lost? How many ghost students do we have in schools? How many ghost schools do we have? Nobody has ever been arrested. But when he goes to summits, he talks about accountability. Yet back at home, he's stealing every hour, every minute. He thinks about stealing. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed quacks always beat the game intellectually? You know who a quack is and how intellectual he is. God bless you. See you in the next episode. Asanteni sana.